How's it going, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to round 3. Here we have Salamangreat versus ABC Orcust Sky Striker, with a little bit of danger, a little bit of Lightsworn, etc., etc. Also, if you're buying anything off of TCG Player, don't forget to use my affiliate link down in the description below. Helps out the channel and me a lot. And also, check out Imperium Duelist. Amazing playmats, dice, sleeves, deck boxes, etc., down at their website below. You can also use that discount code WinterKills10 to save 10% off your entire order. Just some ways that you guys can support me and the channel to help me continue doing what I love to do and make these awesome videos for you guys. So, not only did he open the one of Hornet Drones, but he opened the one of Hornet Drones in a 60-card deck. So keep that in mind. He is playing a 60-card build right now, finding his way just to a token from the Hornet Drones, Mothman, and a Kagari. Finding a way to get, I believe, a Harp Horror into the graveyard as well. Off of that Foolish Burial. Again, opening up 2 one-ofs in this opening hand, and they are some very, very powerful one-ofs, to say the least. Now going to use that Harp Horror to summon out that Nightmare. Officially now locked into Dark Monsters. I believe also has a copy of Widow Anchor in his hand as well. Now linking off the Kagari and the Nightmare for the Galatea. And then we can imagine that with the Mothman and that token, we're probably going to see the IP board being set up, the notorious IP board that Orcust is able to put out nowadays for that devastating topological Zero-Boros play, especially with that Nightmare Engraved being able to gain access to Gizmek. So linking off the token and the Mothman into IP Masquerena. And then using Nightmare here now, actually. Probably just going to set up this Gizmek immediately, or maybe perhaps go for a Symbol Skeleton. Probably just want some way to be able to trigger a Zero-Boros at any point. So he's going to go with World Wand here, actually. You can imagine that World Wand could probably summon out the Nightmare. And then using Galatea's effect now here, the last part, to be able to go ahead and set an Orcust spell or trap. Probably going to go for the Babble here. Babble's probably your best bet. Allows you to play on your opponent's turn. Allows you to trigger that Zero-Boros. Allows you to be able to make your Masquerena more, flexible, I suppose. Be able to handle more situations. Things like that. If one monster gets cleared, you can sort of use your Orcust cards during your turn to get more things on board to be able to link off with. So, ending on Ding, which will reattach a Harp. Ding, Nightmare, and that IP Masquerena. 2-set back row. And in the standby phase, we're going to see a copy of Infinite Impermanence from the hand coming down to stop that Masquerena immediately. Not even giving it a chance to tag out into something like a Zero-Boros, which could prove to be disastrous against a Salamangreat deck. Zero-Boros is it's just a god card. It's literally what it is at this point. The card is absolutely bonkers, and you know, Orcust has such easy access to make it. It can also be made unable to be destroyed by card effects, and you know, just Gizmek and Nightmares and Orcust just making it so free. Cosmic Cyclone, though, helping to combat that field, getting rid of the Babble, hopefully for good. And then normal summoning a Foxy, revealing a Rage, a Sea Archiver, and a Spinny. He'll take that Spinny 100%, discarding it to boost the Foxy by 500. Summoning itself back out immediately to go for none other than Mirage Stalio. This is probably where we're going to start seeing some boards being broken. Already starting with the Imp and the Cyclone, but the Mirage Stalio will definitely help out to do that. Going to summon out Gazelle. And then Gazelle is going to get to activate its effect here to dump an Extender to the graveyard. Could possibly go for Jack Jaguar or Falco. Could also probably look at sending cards like Rage or Roar if you want to be able to, you know, further stop your opponent on the next turn. 2 back row set there. I believe one is a Widow Anchor. Probably expecting his main monster zones to would have been cleared this turn, thanks to a Masquerena play to make the Widow Anchor live, but doesn't seem like that's going to be the case thanks to an Infinite Impermanence. So linking off now the Mirage Stalio and the Gazelle into a copy of Sunlight Wolf, not Sunlit. Could although be its name. I wouldn't mind that. But either way, linking off now into the Sunlight Wolf, and then of course Mirage Stalio, spinning that Orcust Dingirsu back into the extra deck. And following suit, we'll see the Jack Jaguar use his effect to summon himself out by returning the Mirage Stallion, linking itself off into a copy of Balinx. And we're going to see Balinx search the field spell, but doesn't need to activate the field spell, though, to get the added benefits of a second Mirage Stallion. Actually, not Mirage Stallion, but Sunlight Wolf, but not going for Sunlight Wolf, going for Heatleo to shuffle back one back row back into the deck, and using the field spell relink effect just to go into another Heatleo immediately and shuffle back another back row. That effect is not a hard once per turn. Such a fantastic card here, helping out to clear this board as best as he possibly can. Started with the Impermanence into the Cyclone, Mirage Stallion helping out, and of course Heatleo doing its job by, sending back both of those back row into the deck. And using his secondary effect now to be able to target Balinx in the grave to drop that Masquerena down to 500 from 8. It's not that big of a difference, but it's an extra 300 damage, so you'll definitely take it. Especially when you're only at 2300. And of course, Nightmare cannot be destroyed by battle by Link monsters, and not a whole lot he can do to get rid of this Orcust effects in the grave. I guess he could have tried to establish Dweller via Falco and Jaguar, but I just don't know if that would have been an actual possibility with the given resources that he had when having to, use so much resources to try and clear other cards. But then again, maybe he could. I saw a Falco. I saw a Jack Jaguar. I know that there might have been access to a Falco in some way, but either way, passing it back over to the Orcust player. And unfortunately, like I said, you leave those Orcust cards in grave. They're just going to help regenerate advantage this turn. And linking into the Barricade Borg blocker, and then using that Engage to go search out that Widow Anchor that once was set on his field and allow him to get I believe a bonus card here. So we'll definitely take that. Being able to research that Widow Anchor, of course, our Salamangreat player did not know that was a Widow Anchor, but it kind of helped out our ABC Orcust player here a little bit by giving him a good search target, make the Engage live, and get an additional draw out of it. And we'll see the Widow Anchor take the Heatleo, and then a Monster Reborn to follow up to summon out IP Masquerena, and then the summon of that, we're going to see a Phantasme, which is going to allow him to draw 4 cards here. 4 cards. I think that's the most I've ever seen a Phantasme go for. I think I've seen 3 draws several times. I've seen 2 draws quite, a billion times, but 4 draws here for each Link monster +1, and then basically resolving a Saryuja right now. Drawing 4 and then putting back 3. Resolving a Saryuja on his opponent's turn. That is absolutely hilarious. So now we're going to see Nightmare dumping the wand. Also has a live symbol skeleton engraved too. So bringing back this Galatea could have proven to be a Phantasme for 5. Putting back 4, allow him to dig 5 cards deep. Don't know exactly what he'd be digging for, but could definitely help. So there's the Galatea, and then the wand bringing back the harp. And at this point, you can imagine we're probably going to see him go for game thanks to that nice Boral Sword card, ending games very, very quickly. Talked about it in the past. This card does not allow for comebacks, essentially. It just allows for games to be over. I guess you can come back with that card, but, this is a situation where perhaps Boral Sword didn't exist. There might be another turn past this, but of course, linking off with everything, including his own Heatleo, going in for the sword. The Sea Archiver is going to help to block a little bit of damage here, so the Dingirsu will have to attack into it, and then 3k, 17, and then 3k again with only 2300 left after the harp swings in. Turning that ding to defense, that's going to be game, especially with having to pay those 1000 life points for that Cosmic Cyclone earlier on in that game 1. So now we're going to head into game 2, where, big surprise, our Salamangreat player is going to opt to go first. Does not want his opponent to have the chance to easily set up again like he did last game. Getting started very strong, though, with that Flame Buffalo practically glued to his hand at this point. If you saw the last week's feature match featuring this deck, I believe against Harpies, check that out. Also, if you guys are interested in the Salamangreat profile, you can also check that out. I believe it is already up on the channel. I don't know if I'll be able to get this 60-card monstrosity profile. I don't know if I'll still be playing it or if you guys will want to see a profile of it. It is quite indeed a monstrosity. And seemingly everything working out for him that previous game. Not seeing any of the ABC engine, although that shall change for this game, but nonetheless, getting started here with the Foxy into the Spinny, following up into Mirage Stalio. A little bit of help from the Foolish Burial there, so pretty good start to his turn already, going for the Gazelle. Gazelle dumping Jack Jaguar, and then linking off the Balinks and the Gazelle into that first copy of Sunlight Wolf, and then using the field spell to immediately link into another one. Then returning that other Sunlight Wolf with the Jack Jaguar, returning the Gazelle back to his hand, linking off the Jack Jaguar into another copy of Baling, setting one, and ending his turn there. So a very swift and productive turn one from Salamangreat, nothing we're not used to seeing already. And then we're going to see, of course, Hornet Drones again. Opens the Hornet Drones again in a 60-card deck, 2 games in a row. I would be salty. I don't know about you guys, but now going to attempt to resolve Allure of Darkness, drawing into Brilliant Fusion, I believe, and Union Hanger, but there is a Lancia. That is going to prove to be so incredibly clutch. Using Charge of the Light Brigade to mill a Afterburner, a Lone Fire Blossom, and a Harp Horror. So pretty good mills there if you're not under Lancia. It does set up an extra spell in your grave for Engage, possibly. Also gets you an Orcust in the graveyard as well. So we'll add Raiden, Hand of the Lightsworn. And the fact that he hard drew that Brilliant Fusion is absolutely hilarious to me, alongside that Hornet Drones. So he's going to go for the Predaplant Orphis, Scorpio. That'll be met with a Roar. His opponent probably thinking he is trying to go set up Brilliant Fusion, but little does he know he hard opened the Brilliant Fusion. So linking off into Barricade Borg Blocker, just to clear some zones, get a Link Arrow down for Seraphonite. He'll send, I'm not sure what Gem Knight monster that is. Usually you're seeing Garnet be sent, but not this time, I guess. So alongside that, the Performage Trick Clown. So pay the 1,000 to summon that back out, and then use Union Hanger. If your head is spinning, don't worry, mine is a little bit too. So he's going to add B off of the Union Hanger, normal summon B, and equip it with C. Now, you can imagine what would happen from this point if his opponent had not Lancia'd. It would just absolutely probably be game. Going into Saryuja, though, could also possibly activate the effects, if he chooses to, of his other ABC cards in the graveyard. Be able to add a Union from deck, and special one from hand, which I believe he's going to do. So he's going to add A. And I believe there was no legal target in hand for the Crush Wyvern to activate before, you know, adding the A to his hand. So, and then he's going to resolve and Engage here. Picked up the Engage off the Saryuja. This is what I mean. Like, it's one of those 60-card amalgamation decks that you kind of get an idea for it in your head of how all these pieces could work together under a, like, very niche set of circumstances. And when all the pieces fall into place, it starts to look pretty enticing, but that really doesn't always happen all the time. Of course, if you ever experimented with anything, you know this sometimes to be the case. So Engage, bonus card into the Widow Anchor to steal the Sunlight Wolf. Saryuja special summoning out the A Assault Core, boosting that up to, I believe, 22. So at 19 up to 22, resolving the Jackalope, because he cannot resolve the Gizmek like he thought he would. Not remembering the fact that he had been Lancia'd earlier in the turn, which again, you can imagine how much this Lancia is preventing our Salamangreat player from getting absolutely obliterated at this point. Because he would be able to summon Gizmek, he'd be able to summon Buster Dragon, he'd be able to do Orcust plays, like it just would have been absurd. So going into the battle phase and clearing most of the field, and then end phase, or not end phase, but main phase 2 rather, linking off into Appaloosa with Sunlight Wolf, the A Assault Core, and the Danger Jackalope, because when in doubt, Appaloosa it out. Just kind of slapping Appaloosa together whenever you can. If you got extra pieces on your board, why not just turn them into an Appaloosa? Why not just get a couple monster negates? So on the sending of that Sunlight Wolf, we'll be able to trigger the Gazelle, Gazelle is going to go through to dump a copy of Falco. Could possibly activate his effect here if desired to try and reset something. And he will. And that will get negated by the Appaloosa, so not going to allow him to reset a card. Now turning that Gazelle into defense, trying to throw some hands here in that Appaloosa. It's only 1600 right now, although it is boosted actually by the Saryuja, so it is sitting at 19. So Gazelle just not able to get over it at this current point. Would need a little bit something else. Sunlight Wolf could crash. Mirage Stalio could definitely beat over it. Just got to get that on the field. Looking at Foxy, perhaps. There's a couple face-up spells on the field for it to work with. His own field spell included. Looking at Spinny. Looking at Falco. Quite a few possibilities here. Although, a bit behind in life points at this time. And if he is not able to address the graveyard, if he's not able to address this field, he's going to be able to do Orcust plays next turn alongside a Buster Dragon that's going to come out 100%. He's got to address this graveyard and this field in some way, shape, or form. So Falco's going to activate, bouncing back the Gazelle. He's not going to opt to negate that, so there's one piece of the puzzle. He's going to go for Spinny now, and it's going to get negated. I think he banishes it here. Even though it technically never hits the field, I don't think the Spinny should be banished, so I think that is a bit of an accident on his behalf. And then now that it is down to only one counter being boosted by the 300, we'll leave it at 11. Enough for Falco to get over it by 100, so there goes the battle phase there. Linking off the Falco into a copy of Bailings, triggering the Gazelle effect to be able to dump and special. Looks like he's going to... contemplating anyways, dumping that circle to the graveyard for possible reuse, but looks like it's going to be Will. Will could prove to be much more valuable as an extender at this given point. Now linking into Sunlight Wolf. Has a Jack Jaguar engraved, so we can imagine we're going to see that, putting back another copy of Sunlight Wolf, adding back the Gazelle off of the Sunlight Wolf effect. Still has yet to use the relink effect of the field spell, so we could possibly see that here. And that's exactly what we'll see. So now can use the effect to not only reset the Roar off of its own effect, but use Sunlight Wolf to get back that copy of Will and use it to reborn the Falco. And this is where we'll see that crucial rank 4 play going into Dweller. Unfortunately, not going to be able to turn off the ABC pieces, as that is not an effect activating. That's just sort of a summoning condition by being able to banish them all from the graveyard. So, of course, we'll see the Dweller get activated there during the standby phase, but, of course, that's not going to stop Buster Dragon from coming out, much like it would not stop a card like Block Dragon if it was in the grave. So, rough there, but I'd still believe there is an Orcust Harpoor in his grave, so it at least is turning that off from, you know, preventing further damage. You know, being able to link off into a Galatea and then go into Ding, and it just all kind of spirals out of control there. So, attempting to resolve the Scorpio to get another monster on the field, the other Predaplant. So, he's going to use the Roar on that, interestingly enough. Preventing him from getting further board presence. He has no cards in hand, though, at this point, the ABC player. No cards in hand, which means you do not have to worry about the discard to banish effect, which would have been much more annoying to deal with, as opposed to just the tag out effect. So our ABC Orcust player, though, moving into the battle phase to clear the Sunlight Wolf, preventing that from just being readily accessible for the next turn, to be able to re-grab something back from the grave. So passing over to the Salamangreat player. Dweller slowing his turn down a bit, though, like I said. Just enough. Just getting the Buster Dragon. No cards in hand for him to work with at this point, so that's nice. The normal summoning Gazelle to start off the turn to dump a copy of Circle to the graveyard. Now at this point, you're trying to stop the Buster Dragon from tagging out, if at all possible, to prevent another Buster Dragon in the future. Because at this point, you're only at 1,200 life points. That 3,300 Buster Dragon over that Sunlight Wolf hurt quite a bit. And especially being this behind in life points, it's kind of now or never in you know, terms of making a comeback at this point. And then we're going to see Falco to return the Gazelle. Be able to link off into Heat of the Fire Charmer Ablaze. Digging for a fire monster. He knows it's in his opponent's graveyard. It's that Lone Fire Blossom. If you remember it being sent there way earlier in this game. Then linking those off into a copy of Heatleo to shuffle back the Brilliant Fusion into the deck. And then from here, it's really hard to tell what to do next. I mean, you could try to go and do an Appaloosa. Maybe if you're the Orcust player, you see this coming, preventing the tag out since it does tribute for cost, so it would be negated upon resolution, and then, negating the activation, I believe Appaloosa does. So regardless, would be able to prevent the tag out. So I don't know if the ABC Orcust player would see this as a potential play coming down the line, trying to link all the way up into an Appaloosa, but again, who knows. But now using Jack Jaguar, a card like Pyro Phoenix would actually kind of come in clutch right now. Not gonna lie, people be hating on Pyro Phoenix sometimes, but I feel like Pyro Phoenix could come in handy here. Might not win you the game, but might be better than nothing. Relinking now into another Heatleo. He's going to use the effect on the Buster Dragon. Drop it down to 500 from its original 33. Well, original 3K boosted by 3, but now back down to 500. So it is very, very small. Very, very small Buster Dragon. But they're checking out all the pieces, double checking the effect here of the Dragon Buster. Figuring out what the next move is going to be. So he will drop it down. He's going to decide to tag there, but perhaps not. Maybe not. Is this the best time to tag out? Probably going to wait for the battle phase beforehand. Really make him try to work to tag this Dragon Buster out, Buster Dragon, whatever you want to call it. Now trying to link even further with this Jack Jaguar and this Heatleo. It's not going to be a Pyro Phoenix, unfortunately, although it would be nice. Even though I think he's already used the relink effect of the field spell, so won't do him much good there. So going to link into Appaloosa here, actually. So 2 counters. Now has the opportunity to negate. And the ABC player here, regardless, despite no real threat coming from the Appaloosa, going to tag out anyways and just have it get negated. But now we're going to see the Will bring back the Gazelle and then Spinny bringing itself back here, linking into the Update Jammer. So some potential really good plays here. Jack Jaguar actually getting summoned off the Will here. And then linking into Transcode, at least trying to link into Transcode. Now, Transcode gains 500 attack for it and its co-linked monsters. So it would have came out at 28, which would have been enough to crash into the Saryuja. He could have also summoned to the zone that the Saryuja points to get a co-link that way. It would have gone up by 5, boosting it to 28, then additional 3 to 31. But then again, the Saryuja would have been boosted by 500 as well because it would have been co-linked with the Transcode Talker. So that would have boosted by 33. So there might have been some possible way, but it would involve him to crash and just leaving him with 1 Appaloosa negate, and it's probably just going to spell game there anyways, as you see that he scoops it up. Cannot use the revival effect of Transcode Talker there, unfortunately, since he did summon non-Cybers monsters previously in that turn. So yeah, I mean, it is a bit of a hard setup sometimes with the Transcode and can be easily forgotten when trying to set those things up. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, Winner Kill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.